Thank you.
You are live.
Good afternoon. So, this is the same teaching that I gave this morning. If you were here for this morning, I'm just going to repeat the same information. You're welcome to hear it again live. It's also still up there on YouTube. The reason we're doing it this way is because of time zones. This morning at 11 a.m. was very inconvenient for those Americans on the American continent, that is, which would be Mexico or North America, Mexico, South America, Latin America, Canada, all of these places, who are working day jobs. Couldn't have made that. So this evening at 6 is for those people who had to miss it. This is kind of middle of the night for the Europeans. So because of that, most of the Europeans were there this morning. So it's a choice of one or the other, depending on what your time zone is doing to you and your work schedule. That said, you're welcome to be at both if that's what you want. Same info. New info tomorrow morning. The text we're doing is Tsiksunnedep. 3 words that strike the heart, or 3 phrases that strike the heart, by Garab Dorje. And there is a commentary also. There's a number of commentaries actually on this text, but one of the most famous is by Patrul Rinpoche. So I'll be using some of that commentary in the root text. Garab Dorje, whose name also exists in both the Nyingma and the Bon lineages. Garab Dorje, it means adamantly lovable. He was like that, incredibly charismatic. The story is that he was born to a nun who in embarrassment left him in the forest, but couldn't really do that. So after a day or so, she went back to where she'd left him, and he was there just fine. Happy baby, googling away in the forest. As he grew up, he became a great Lama and teacher. When he was just a little kid, he kept vanishing where his mama couldn't find him. One day he asked her, or she asked him, "Where are you getting off to when I can't find you all this time?" And he said, "Oh, I'm going to the Pure Lands to get teachings from Vajrasattva." And she asked him, "Well, what did you learn there?" And he said, "Well, everything Vajrasattva knows, I now know." Had chutzpah too. His main disciple, Jampalshini, had been a great scholar himself over at Nalanda. And when Garab Dorje was about 14 years old, he said to his mom, "I want to go to Nalanda and debate with the scholars there." And his mom said, "You can't do that. You're a kid. You haven't been to college." He said, no, I really want to do this. Come on, go ask him." Anyway, he made enough of a pest of himself that she went and asked them. I said, "Please, my son keeps asking for this. He's only 14. I'm not sure what I should do. And so send him over here. We'll set him straight." So he went to Nalanda and he debated all the scholars and he won. Now, at that time, the greatest scholar among them had been Garab Dorji. And he was in retreat at the time, so he didn't take part in the debate. But he heard that this upstart kid had come and defeated all the scholars in debate. So he says, okay, let me come out of retreat and go deal with this. I got to fix this upstart kid. So he went and debated Garab Dorji, and Garab Dorji won. So at that time, Jompo Shini became his student and was his main student who carried on the Dzogchen lineage from him. At the time he had died, when Garab Dorji had passed on from this earth, Jompo Shini was coming to the funeral and got there late, did not get there before Garab Dorji had passed. So he was terribly upset and he cried out to the skies, "Without you to guide us, what shall we do?" And at this point, Garab Dorji arose in front of him in a circular rainbow and gave this particular teaching. So it's also referred to as the Testament of Garab Dorji. It is the root text of Dzogchen. The root text in that it contains one of the simplest, most doable sets of instructions for entering into trekcha, cutting through the true meditation of Dzogchen. There are many, many texts on Dzogchen meditation. This one is particularly short, sweet, and doable, which is why everybody likes it so much. It even has a magical word method for transcending the doing of meditation, which is necessary to stabilize trekcha. Shuku kunduzongbo gompo yi, dorji sempa garab dorji dang. Shere singe bardu shin labde, dedam nazan tata tusum chi. Dzogchen jupe lama la solo adib. Again pema junila solo adib. Dorje chang chitelo naro dang, marpa mila gompo tatsapa. Na pupadang palden drupa suk, kargyu lama namla solo adib. Ochen lama namla solo adib. Druchen lama namla solo Shakchen lama namla solo adib. Nyandu dayundrun lama namla solo adib. Palkondu zhangdang yerme pa gun garab dorji Jin tragpa, jedidang nisume pa, palamanam chitente chong. So another reason we are doing this twice live is because we don't know if The four wongs of Dzogchen and the pointing out, which is what's in this set of teachings, actually can be canned, whether it transmits across time. The current theory is, with live casting, that it transmits across space. Of course, that is simply the current theory. It's only been 20 years since the technology has even begun to appear for this. Dzogchen is over 30,000 years old. And it's always been transmitted in person or through esoteric means and not through electronical means until now. So it's the great experiment. I think it works. Norbu Rinpoche thought it works, at least in simultaneous live casting. Theoretically, it should also work in recorded. If space isn't a problem and time-space is a single continuum, time shouldn't be a problem either. It should be available for the catching at all times and on all occasions, since the true nature of mind, Sem-Yi, the point of Dzogchen, doesn't come and go. So the transmission at whatever point in time should be available at whatever other point in time to the student who directs their attention towards it. And the words of the teaching, the visuals of the teaching, are simply to direct your attention to something which doesn't come and go, and which isn't a thing. Semni, Dharmata, Svabhavakaya. It's got lots of fancy names. Because it is indescribable and inconceivable, it doesn't fit inside your tiny little thought patterns. Thoughts are limiting. You think in a language. If any of you are bilingual, you are quite aware that you think quite different things in the different languages that you speak, if you're fluently bilingual. In the same way, your thoughts are limited into only the number of languages you speak and the images that you have encountered and can imagine. And outside of that is everything else. And you'll never get that way by thinking about it. You'll never reach there with intellect. You'll not reach there with feeling or even perception, for your thoughts, your feelings, and your perceptions are all moving. You perceive via your sense organs. You have a sensation of the sense organs, of the eyes, the nose, the ears, the touch, which you interpret as a specific thing, a perception. I perceive that I have my glass of iced coffee here. Having perceived that, you think a thought, that's a nice iced coffee. And you feel a feeling, want coffee. Then you perform an action and create a karma. And so it goes. From the karma arises new perceptions, new sensations with their interpretations. Now I have a sensation of being refreshed and more awake. It's a sensation of my yi, a mood. It resulted from the karma of taking a sip of coffee. Having that sensation, I want another one. So I decide to pick it up and drink again. thoughts, feelings, and perceptions. A complete entanglement in Tibetan bilbla, which is what the yarn looks at it after kittens. A complete bilbla of those three things, constantly moving, constantly changing. Phenomena, we call it, inner and outer. Really, there's no inner and outer, but we call it that just for shits and grins, actually. We call thoughts and feelings inner phenomena and perceptions outer phenomena, even though the sensation is occurring in our own organs. You can't see something that is not in the wavelengths of light that the human eye is able to see. A sparrow. The cones perceive color and the rods perceive shape in the retina, or rather light and dark. You interpret it as shape, and then thingies having color and shape. A sparrow has many, many more, several. I'm trying to remember my numbers. I think we've got 80 cones per millimeter, and a sparrow has 300, and I'll have to look it up. Anyway, a lot more. What we see as a little brown sparrow, due to the limitations of our sense organ, we see a little brown sparrow, but a sparrow may see a rainbow in colors you can't even imagine. Nor can you imagine the beauty of the whale songs, poetry paintings in sonar. Too far outside your experience. These are the limitations of thoughts, feelings, and perceptions. Your Homo sapien sense organs create certain limits. The smells that your dog perceives are vaster than that. In the same way, your thoughts and the language you think in create certain limits of patterns of thought. English is a linear language. So we tend to think linearly in that language. Mandarin is a unit that builds up around itself language to make units of meaning. When you think in Mandarin, you think quite differently, which is kind of fun. What I'm trying to get you to understand is just how limited we are by what we call the moving phenomena, the dance of phenomena, the sensations in our sense organs, our interpretation of them being our perceptions, our thoughts about those perceptions, the stories we tell ourselves about all the other times we had similar perceptions, arising feelings, how we feel about that perception, liking and dislike, which causes actions as we muck about with trying to improve things. Karma. Outside of that, not moving, not dancing, not coming and going, unborn, undying, is the totality of ourselves. Semnyi, real mind, great mind, true mind, however you want to translate that. This teaching is about coming to notice the totality. Lama la chagsalo. I prostrate to the teacher. Guru Yoga is the root of this. For you will not look beyond the moving, beyond the phenomena with which you obsess in your daily life, compulsively trying to improve it, fix it, get it the way you want it. You'll not look past that. Because beyond that, you would need to look in a different direction, not one that has a name. It's neither to the left or the right, above or below, behind or in front, inside or outside. There's no there to that there where. And yet, it is where all your thinking, feeling, and perceiving arises and vanishes. It is where the dance of phenomena occurs, but it is not limited to or by the nature of that phenomena. The great roar of the dragon pervades all of samsara and nirvana. How can you possibly miss it? Because you're not looking in the right direction. It's like trying to tell a two-dimensional being living in a plane to look up when there is no concept in a single plane of up. Hence, you need a teacher. Someone to point in another direction altogether for you, to get you to look there. Because of the vital importance of the teacher. The names of the teacher, of the lineage, famous teachers of the lineage, are associated with a poetic verbal description of this there that isn't anywhere, of Semni, as a mnemonic, as a reminder. Tawa longchen rabjaming, gompa kenseo sering. Sopa Gyalaway Nuguing. Tawa. There's no English for that word. Oh, some people translate it as view. But it's not. A view is like a point of view. A view is like looking out the window. You're sitting here, and you look out there at that. You aren't that. You look at that. That's a view. That's not what Tawa means. Since it has no equivalent in English or Spanish, I'm going to have to show you, to point at it. And then we can call it Tawa because it needs a name so we can talk to each other about it. This is a trick to being able to see it. You work with the energy channels of your body. Your energy channels, there's a main one, the Uma, which runs from your crown chakra down just in front of your spine, about the size around of a bamboo cane. Runs through there, and it runs down to your peritoneum, but it splits at your dantian, where your uterus is, and it joins the two side channels that go in your nostrils up around your brain, down through this, down here in front of the spinal cord. They're not around the brain, they're just in the layers of the brain, but they go around and they go down. They're sort of behind where the nipples are. maybe a little bit more central. And they're about the size of a pencil. And they run down and join the central channel. These aren't your only channels. Your body's full of channels. They don't end at your skin. They extend out. The better you are at practice, the further out they're able to extend. Usually for most of us, because we are obsessed with our own stuff, our own family, our own neighbors, our own house, our own job, and we're much more interested in this than, say, butterflies in Borneo. So they curve around outside the skin. Here's a painting of a tonka, a traditional tonka, where you can sort of see the shape. See this bubble around her? And it's a little higher in top because the head one also sticks up. Kind of egg-shaped, actually, because of the head one. Lumpy, with dim spots and matted bits, because you've all had some kind of PTSD in infinite lives, and that leaves matted bits where the karma gets stuck. So your chi, your vital life force, runs in these channels. Your thoughts ride the force. Your feelings and your perceptions are intertwined with them. They ride the chi through the channels. In order to perceive truly in another direction altogether, you need to align the channels and settle the chi, first aligning the channels so that the chi has its best chance of moving smoothly and not getting caught up in the gnarly bits and squeaking. You don't want that. So there are body positions that support the channels in alignment. I'm sitting in the Maitreya position right now on a chair. For a description of this, you may Google ergonomic office chair later. It tells you to adjust your chair, how to adjust your chair ergonomically. You adjust its height so that sitting in it with your feet flat on the floor, your thighs are completely perpendicular to the floor. Your calves are straight up and down. It's not pressing on the back of your legs, cutting off circulation. Your knees are moderately together, but not squished tightly together. And your hands, in a relaxed manner, sit on your thighs just a little bit back from your knees. This is the Maitreya position. It's common for use in chairs. Should you be limber enough and young enough to cushion sit or floor sit, you want to use the lotus position. In the lotus position, you put your left leg up on your right thigh, your left foot up on your right thigh with the sole up. And then you put your right foot up on your left thigh. If you can do that, it is excellent and stable. But if by chance you don't bend that way or it hurts, don't damage your knees. Simply tuck the left leg in with the right leg out and fold them like that. You want to get your weight off your tailbone so that it is somewhat forward on the very bottom of your buttocks, right by where it joins your thighs. Not too far forward on the thighs, still on the ass, but not on the back of the ass where the tailbone is. If you get your weight too far forward, you're going to go sway backed. If you get it too far back, you're going to go curved like this. You don't want to do that. It causes squeaky side effects like depression, insomnia, ADD. So you want to get this just right. You don't want to be twisted to the side one way or the other. If you have a scoliosis that drops one shoulder, you may wish to stick something under that elbow to correct for it. Get a friend to run spotter for you and check your position. I found that many people, when they think they're sitting straight, are actually either leaning back, leaning forward, or slightly twisted, or leaning to the side, and they can't feel it. So get a friend to spot you until you've found the proper position. Whether a little easier in a chair because you can check it with the back, but it's good to have a spotter. Your mouth has to be loose, slightly, your lips slightly open, your teeth not closed, a little bit open. You might even stick the edges of your tongue, keep them a little bit open. Your tongue lies naturally on the roof of your mouth, not turned backwards like it does in certain Tsalung practices, but just naturally there. Allowing, I'd say about 85% of the air is going through your nose, and about 15%, more or less, through the mouth. You want to bring your chin back and make a slight double chin. That straightens the neck. And you want your arms nice and loose so that you could fit an egg in your armpit. That's the standard explanation for how loose they go, how outward they stick. Why you would want to fit an egg in your armpit has never been explained to my satisfaction by any of my teachers. That's most of the body position, but not the most important part. The most important part are the eyeballs. You see, what we're trying to do is shift attention from the day-to-day world of phenomena to the ground in which all of that arises. That shift of attention, you can get your eyes to help with it. You see, your eyes follow your attention follows your eyeballs. So if you look to the right, you will pay attention to the things on your right. You will notice what's there. You can't look to your left and not notice what's over there. It will come to your attention. Your attention will go to what you see with your eyes. See that? So we're going to try a shift of attention. All day, every day, you have focused your attention in the usual obsessive way of sentient beings on stuff. This thing and that thing. What you're thinking, how you're feeling, what you're going to do about it with the stuff around you to make yourself feel better, what you think about. Stuff, phenomena. In order to shift your attention from phenomena to the ground of mind, to the great mother ocean of Dharmakaya, you need to shift your gaze from point focus that you use to look at this thing and that thing to not point focus. You have to actually consciously, with your eyes sort of half open, the gaze pointed to wherever it would land naturally for you, and then those little muscles that control your lens and focus your eyes on this object or that object. intentionally relax them. Try it. Hard for me to do with the written word in front of me. You may find the same, so clear that area wherever you're letting your gaze fall. There we go. It's not a matter of fuzzing your vision, but of relaxing its point focus so that your attention can go in another direction, can shift in another direction. This is the teaching of body. And if you have questions on the teaching of body, you should put them in chat. Next is the teaching of speech. Shut up. Stop talking to yourself. If you can. Not everyone is capable at the early point of stopping that constant little inner descriptive dialogue that goes on all the time. It can be done, but in the beginning it's not easy. So if you cannot shut up, at least stop listening to it. Take your attention off it. Stop paying attention to what you're thinking. Just like you could have the TV or the street noise or something going on in the background, and if it's been going on long enough, you really kind of don't even notice it anymore. Well, you've been thinking for a long time. If you can't stop, simply stop paying attention to it. Then there's the teaching of the mind. With your eyes unfocused and your speech freely and relaxedly disengaged. Put your mind in neutral gear. Oh, it's still there. Things are still arising. There's still sensations, perceptions, little nibbling bits of thoughts like the undermutter. There's a mood, some feelings. Put it in neutral so you're not following any of those. Just let go. Gently allow your attention to open up from its point focus on phenomena, on what you're thinking, to where your thoughts be happening. Follow your thoughts home without paying attention to what they say. Look where they are. This is mind looking. If you find a thing, you've missed. If you find a color such as yellow or blue or red, you have missed the point. Square, triangular, or round misses the point. For those are thoughts, those are ideas, those are perceptions that arise in mind, dissolve in mind, and are entirely made of mind, have never been anything other than mind. This is mind looking. The seer sees himself, wrong. It's not of you. It's you. You, the thinker, feeler, perceiver. The thoughts, feelings, and perceptions are so tiny, so limiting. Let go. Relax. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Blow it out like a sigh through your mouth. Relax into the indescribable state of your own true nature. This is Tawa. Yar Tawa. No thing, nowhere, no limits. Infinitely open, beyond even the concept of center or edge. Tawa Long Chen Rabjaming, Long Chen Rabcham, the name of a teacher in the lineage, also refers to infinite, vast expanse, indescribable, ineffable, inconceivable. You'll never wrap a thought around it. Thoughts are limited. Look and look again at your own true nature. Tawa. But this Tawa, infinite, vast, and empty that it is, but it's not a big dead old nothing, not dark, for it is lucid. It is the thinker of the thoughts, the feeler of the feelings, the perceiver of the perceptions, the seer of that which is seen. Your awareness, rigpa, itself is Tawa. Notice your own true nature. Gompanyawe and you go in, Gom, the meditation. Gom is Re, Gompa Kenseo Serian. Rays of infinite love. The vitality of this, not a big dead old nothing. The aliveness, that very ability to think, feel, and perceive. This is the clear light nature of Dharmakaya. The light by which the seer sees. Can't say Osera. Yahweh Nugu. I'm looking at my text and I'm talking from memory. Gompa Yahweh Nuguing. Sopa Kenseo Sarian. Sopa, son of the victorious ones. The dance of the bodhisattvas. the arising and vanishing of phenomena without a single atom of thingness occurring. To one who practices like this, De Chanam Selen Pala, Tse Chik Sanje Latong Me. Buddhahood in this life without difficulty. This very practice, Tawa, the practice of Tawa, which is Gompa, the fulfillment of which is Sopa, this very practice, the 3 words of Garab Dorji, taken to heart and proceeded properly, goes all the way. Mayangolode alala. But even if not, you shall have satisfaction. You see, even if you just hear these teachings and practice them a little bit in your spare time, because you're raising a family and you've got a career and shit happens and you forget a bit and, like that. Even if that's all you do rather than really going for it, it will still soften your hopes and fears. So that as in life shit happens, because it will, it's like that, you're going to get less bent out of shape by it. And that's the beauty of this practice. Even if you just do it as a dilettante, it still works. So, Tawa Long Chen Rab Jam Ying. To reach the meaning of the 3 words that pierce the heart, that strike the heart. Trekcha, the meditation of Dzogchen, which cuts through the life force of delusion. One needs to be introduced to Tawa. And there's a lot of ways of doing it. They say it can be done just running your intellect into smaller and smaller circles until it just sort of goes splat. Takes about 13 years. It's called Madhyamika Omachembo, Ochen. I've never studied it for that long. But Lama Zopa, Lama Yeshe's student, was a great master of it. And I have known a number of Khenpos who have mastered it in that way. So it does work, and if you have a very scholarly inclination, you might consider Shedra. Takes about the same amount of time as getting your doctorate, maybe a little longer. There's also ways of showing symbols in Mahamudra. This way, in this text, leading the attention to the vanishing point of mind. That's the key. So first, the most important point. Tung bo rang sem lo de jacques. You gotta relax into this. You can't force it, point at it, force it. It won't work at all. It's not pointed like a bird dog. It's like sliding into a hot bath. Ah, Tawa. You gotta be relaxed, otherwise it won't work. If you are too tense, do something to relax yourself. Go run around the block a few times. Because the relaxation is the key. So first, relax your mind. Metro medu namtok me. Without being distracted, but without concentrating either. And without pursuing thought. When you are able to hit that point of not limp noodle, you're not falling asleep, but sufficient relaxation that you are neither distracted and, wandering all over what'll I make for supper, blah, 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 nor focused, concentrated. In between those 2 points is the happy place. If you can hit that, the thoughts unhook themselves. Usually your thoughts are hooked together in a thought chain. They make sense that way. Little tiny bitty thought particles all strung together into ideas. You want to relax enough that you're not holding them together. So the little bitty tiny bits are pluk, 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 as they will, but they're not going anywhere. This is putting it in neutral gear. You're not connecting them. Nang la chamne lote du. While you are remaining relaxed in that even-minded state, not so relaxed that you're distracted and going all over the place, not so tight that you're focused, not pursuing your thoughts, not following them into ideas, not building edifices out of them. Just like that. Chalangartung emaho. Suddenly exclaim the magic word, forcefully and abruptly. Emaho. This is your trick. We take, just like in the Kabbalah, letters have mystical meanings. So we take the letter pa, which is in many places the er suffix, the do-er, the active principle, method, like rigpa, see-er, and tra, which is the wisdom letter, and we stick them together. When these 2 letters are stuck together properly, they make a sound. Pet. Now, this sound in some other practices is used differently, such as in chud, where you sing it slowly. Be, be. Here, not like that. Sudden, sharp, and fierce it must be. Pet. Out loud it must be, no sub-vocalizing, this won't work. Doesn't have to be loud, but it has to have that sharpness, that fierceness, and your chi, which is also your breath, involved in it. But, but, that's the softest I can do it, and sometimes louder is better. But, but. This mystical sound pops an experience. It's a pin with which you pop your meditation. You destroy it, you break it. Because Tawa, real Tawa, is right on the other side of the mind-made Tawa you have created. So, you sit with your channels in alignment, your eyes unfocused. You stop talking to yourself, or at least get your mind into neutral gear, your speech center into neutral gear, where although thoughts may be arising, they're not going anywhere. They're not connected to each other in sensible phrases and ideas. They lack discursiveness. Relax into it. When you've got it nice and relaxed, break it. No thing. See, this relaxed state is one you have made. You created it by relaxing your eyeballs, by unhooking your thoughts. It's close, but it's not the banana. When you pop it, if you are looking right there, if you're right there in the moment when you pop it, for a moment, as it is burst, hetewa, no thing whatsoever. And that's Tawa. Oyang mayan hetewa, no-thingness. Hetewa. Hetewa la sangtale. And that hetewa is utterly open and unobstructed. It's not obstructed by your idea of meditating, by you thinking you're meditating, by what you've done with your eyeballs, by what you're hoping to get out of it, by what you're afraid might happen. All of these things, the thoughts, the feelings, and even the perception of open awareness. But gone for a moment. And the real Tawa, which is no thing at all, right there. Sangtale zodume. Indescribably boundness, unimpededness, open, transparent. Beyond words, beyond thought, beyond time and space, beyond coming and going, beyond here and there. great Mother Ocean of Dharmakaya. Unchanging, unmoving, unborn, undying, always present. It's getting you to look past phenomena. See, in that moment, before you hit it with pet, you are looking at a perception. You are perceiving your own mind. Perceptions come and go. Oops. That's why you break it. Because it is a mind-created meditation. And you wish to transcend this, yes? You don't want something that comes and goes. Oh, you can get all sorts of fine experiences and realizations, but you know what they say. If a yogi should suddenly find himself able to fly, he is strongly advised not to fly over large bodies of water, especially if he can't swim. See, anything you get, it goes. Anything you construct, you lose it, it comes apart. Anything you acquire gets away from you. So mind-made meditations, don't cut it. Gotta get right to the other side of that, to the real Tawa. Not what you think is Tawa, what you feel is Tawa, or even what you perceive as Tawa. Santale means unobstructed. You are seeing the totality of yourself in that moment, which is no thing at all. Isn't it amazing? The vital significance of this is that the very Chuku, which is the source of the subsisting awareness, the continuous awareness, the very awareness which you think is you, which you think is yours, the seer. When you look here and you look there, the one that do the looking. Yeah, that, the awareness. The absolute vision detached from concepts, originally pure, belonging to the path of the yogi. And so until you have recognized, until you have seen your own naked face, the Dharmakaya, in all its innate, clear light, vitality, and creative lucidity, in its totality, until such time, however often you practice, your meditation will not get out of rationality, emotions, or perceptions. And that cannot be stabilized. You may have heard of all the yogis trying to stabilize their trekcha. Wrong trekcha. It can't stabilize the moving phenomena. And that which is not phenomena is inherently stable, for even time and space arise within it. So it can't lose its stability. Isn't that amazing? You guys all got to come to Flight of the Garuda. Even more detail on this. Remember, mind-made meditations are just that. They come and go. They wear off because you make them up. A real meditation, beyond doing and not doing. You can't do it, but when you do the mind meditation and then pop it for a moment, ete wala sangtale. recognize this awareness as Dharmakaya. Chuku rigpa ngora ngochungshak. Chuku rigpa ngorangjak. Recognize this as yourself, the Dharmakaya. And you take refuge. Lama yidam kandro. Tsa lung tigli. Chuku lonku truku. Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya. I take refuge. Rang sem tong sel ngo. Own mind's emptiness, clarity, innate nature. I take refuge. The real refuge. It's not out there. I'm not going to give it to you. You already have it. I'm going to keep pointing for as long as we know each other. Because it's right here, right now, right there. Homework. What I taught you, do it without me. Do it by yourself. It's different. Because I'm shouting telepathically while I'm using the words to keep your attention on it. So when you do it by yourself, it feels different, but do it anyway. Don't give up. Really make sessions with the proper position. Between now and 11 a.m. tomorrow, you'll manage, because it's Saturday, so everyone can be there. Most people don't work Saturdays. Those who do, we're just going to have to listen to the tape, I guess, and see if it does cross time. But the key to this is that you got to try it on your own. At least a few times before we meet again in the morning. And at this point, let me pause to make certain of clarity. Are there questions?
There are.
Figured.
Yeah.
There always are. It's normal.
Yeah.
And fun.
So the first question is, what is meant when it is said to confirm awareness of one's vidya without deviating from it?
What the hell is vidya? Video?
No, vidya. V-I-D-Y-A.
Oh, that's Sanskrit.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't speak Sanskrit. Can you find me the Tibetan word and I'll tell you?
Can you explain how to lay in the lion's posture while resting in Tawa?
Yes. Once you are able to rest in Tawa and you have broken it often enough that you've found the real Tawa that doesn't come and go, this is how you sleep. You lie down on your right side, your hand under your head and this hand along your body, and you go to sleep in the posture of a sleeping lion. I believe this is what's meant. There is another lion posture, but it's not part of this teaching. It's used in Togel. If you're referring to that, you must be in complete trekcha to enter into the lion posture and do the eye exercises involved in Togel. Togel speeds it up. But if you don't have a stable trekcha, it ain't gonna do diddly squat. There is no point at this time in my teaching you to rub your stomach and pat your head simultaneously while riding a bicycle if you don't yet know how to ride a bicycle. Because you're gonna fall off. You better get good on the bicycle first. So I don't know if you meant sleeping in trekcha or in tawa, which we do in this posture. Among others, also we sleep sitting up in a gum tree, but that's a different thing. But not in a chair. If you sleep sitting up in a chair with your legs hanging down, you will eventually damage your vascular system in your legs, causing ankle swelling. Oh, when you're young, not at first, but it'll build up. They're not designed, whereas you can sleep sitting up cross-legged just fine, because you're not having that pendulousness of the lower leg, which can lead to damaging the valves in the veins that return the blood upwards. So do not sleep sitting up in a chair over much. Yeah, one night's not going to hurt you, but not a lot. If you're going to learn to sleep sitting up in meditation, then do it cross-legged. Get your legs working so you can do it cross-legged. Something is shining on me and making me look very funny. Never mind. I'll just disappear into the sunlight.
It kind of makes it look like your throat chakra is glowing, so.
Oh, okay, let it glow.
So the person who asked the first question
Yes.
said Vidya is rigpa in
Oh.
Tibetan. So
say the question and let's use the word rigpa.
what is meant when it is said to confirm awareness of one's rigpa without deviating from it?
What is meant by that? Rigpa means the seer. To confirm your own awareness of your awareness. Stably. You're resting in Tawa. It means the same thing. It's a little bit of a complex way of saying it, but very pretty and poetic. Your awareness itself is Tawa. It's when you focus your attention on mind itself. Mind is awake and aware. So your awareness is settled into your natural awareness, which does not come and go, into Tawa, and does not leave it without deviating.
What do you mean by leaving your mind at the vanishing point of mind?
All of what I'm talking about is to lead your attention to the vanishing point of mind so that you can get over yourself.
In the lotus crossed leg position, where do the hands go?
In the lap, with the left on the bottom and the right on top, like it sits on a seat, brought into your body about where your uterus is. And if you have a long torso, you may need to put a pillow under them to support them there, which sticks your elbows out slightly. Your elbows are a little bit nearer when you sit in the Maitreya position.
What is an example of mind-made meditations?
Visualizations, sadhanas, trance states, bliss states, trancing out in a thought-free state. All of these are examples of mind-made meditations because you make them up, you do them. Trekcha is a not doing.
So Tawa cannot be approached through perception, only cessation of activity?
Cessation of activity, such as holding still or stopping acting, is an action. Make your meditation and break it again and again, and you will notice something, which isn't a thing, The same thing every time is right behind it, and it's not a thing. There's nothing there at all. But it's utterly clear. Try it. You see, refraining from action and acting are both doings. I am refraining from taking a sip of my coffee. Okay, I'm going to stop refraining. They were both doings. They were both not the flow, but chosen doings. You gotta try it, guys.
They may be not as many questions this evening.
Less people, I'm sure, because
Yes.
most people got it this morning, but it was the same teaching.
So, can this be practiced, or is it simply resting in what already is?
It is a matter of learning to rest in what already is, but it's not what you think it is. It's not what you feel it to be, and it's not what you perceive it to be. So you've got to get past those limitations to rest in the isness beyond birth and death, which pervades all moments throughout time and space. In fact, time and space, birth and death, arise within it and dissolve within it. Therefore, it is naturally stable. It does not come and go.
When we say the sound pe out loud, isn't that a doing?
It is. You do until you get to the end of doing. The attention has to go through to the vanishing point of mind. It's interesting, although no practice is necessary, it is absolutely necessary to practice. Although doing is completely unnecessary, without doing the necessary things, you'll never get that. And you'll go round and round and round on the wheel. Being a god, falling to the hells, being a ghost, a man, a bug. Again and again, round and round. Thinking, feeling, and perceiving, acting on the thoughts, feelings, and perceivings, creating karma, which arises as more thoughts, feelings, and perceivings. And you keep it going with your deeds and the grasping. This is out, not up. Perfecting mind-made meditations is the samadhi of the God realms. It gets you up several levels, but it doesn't last. You fall down again. And you've been there and done that countless times, you yourself, your mind stream. This is for when you get tired of that. Anybody else got questions, or are we getting close to calling it a night?
We're getting pretty close. One practical question somebody was asking about when you will travel again. When is it likely?
When the virus is under control. I'm old. I neither want to bring y'all together in a place and expose y'all, nor do I particularly want to expose myself. So I can't answer that. We'll see what the mamos do.
What is the main difference between Hedawa Nyam, and Kunji.
Etewa is no thing at all. Nyam is a thing, an experience. Kunji is a name for the experience. I mean, it's a simple difference.
And let me just check here. I think we are. How do you know which practice to focus on when you have come across several?
The one you like. Because you see, if you like it, you'll do it. They all work if you do them. So if you pick one you don't like, you're not really going to do it much. Whereas if you pick one you like, you'll probably do it. Don't pick more than 3. And 2 is better. 1 is best of all, but say you see there's this sadhana of, Dorji Palmo that you really love, and you love Dzogchen. Okay, those 2 will fit together and dovetail nicely, but you've always wanted to do chud. Okay, 1 more. But what about Salong? Put something down. You'll overwhelm yourself if you try to get 3 practices into your daily rigmarole. And all practices are best if done every day. So see which one you like. If there's 2 favorites, you can do them both, but don't just sort of spread yourself over all the many things and this Rushan and that bit of Semday and that bit of Longday and all of that. You'll just get confused and you'll never really accomplish any of it. Often we pick one and go into retreat on it for some number of months or years and really get it good. And then keeping just a little bit of it going every day so it doesn't go stale or disappear from our consciousness, we pick another and make a long retreat on that one. But your lifestyle may not permit that. So look at what's doable for you and what you like as you fit it into your daily practice. Strongly recommendation is that if you're attending a set of teachings, you practice those teachings while you attend that set. So if you're choosing to attend this set, which is the 3 words of Garab Dorji's Dzogchen, you would practice pretty much just this and any commitments that you had to keep up until Sunday at sunset. Then you decide if you like it or not to keep going, or now this was a nice one, I'm glad I was introduced to it, but it's not for me.
And I think that's
Pretty
it
good.
on questions. I think we are good here.
And I will see you all in the morning, 11 a.m. This being about 7:30 p.m., so you can time convert. It will be my 11 a.m. What it will be for you is going to depend on where you are. Ge wandi nyor duna che che sala go pashu. May all beings find their way free of the wheel.